Good morning and welcome to another conversation with Mose. And as always, I pray life is treating you well wherever you are in the world and that you're one day closer to your dreams and prayers coming true. And of course, my podcast wouldn't be a podcast without a poem. So today's poem is by the late, great Langston Hughes, who, if you don't already know, it happens to be one of my favorite poets of all time. And he's also named after my dog. But anyway, this poem is called My People, and it's taken from the book Selected Poems of Langston Hughes, available now where books are sold. And this poem again is called My People. The night is beautiful, so the faces of my people. The stars are beautiful, so the eyes of my people. Beautiful also is the sun. Beautiful also are the souls of my people. I just wanted to share Langston because he always seems to know what to say and when to say it for me in recent years, since I've become so enamored with his work and in awe of his poetic verse and just how he was able to write about the times that were reflected in his day, which is the way I write. My poetry is very reflective of my surroundings and the time where the world is, I should say, or wherever I am in the world. It's reflective of that. So I'd like to think that that's his influence or his, spirit guiding me, so to speak. But anyway, I wanted to do a subject that I'm pretty passionate about it. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to discuss. And I always try to do things that I feel are thought provoking or provoke thought in people or just another perspective maybe that you hadn't considered. But today's subject is called Rich Blacks versus Poor Blacks. And it is exactly what I said what it actually is. is it means what I said it means, I guess is what I'm saying. It's pretty self-explanatory. But I decided to do a podcast on the division I feel is there in the black community for blacks in general. And I wanted to kind of speak on it based on my own experiences and what I've observed, what I've seen and heard throughout my life that brought me to this conclusion. But it seems like there's a division between upper class, or I should say affluent black people, as opposed to people that aren't so affluent, the haves and the have-nots, if you will. And I want to know, first of all, this is not I don't think anybody should apologize for their success in terms of wealth, education, things of that nature. Whatever success, your business, your career. I don't think anybody should ever apologize for that. But what I have issue with is it seems like there's a lot of putting people down because you don't have certain things. And things that I've witnessed in family, with friends, just a lot of condescending attitudes toward people that don't seem to be as privileged or blessed to be in certain positions. And I've had those things done to me throughout my life. And, it never really bothered me. I guess I never really noticed it. I never really thought about it because I've never really been envious of people and their material things or things that they've accomplished. It's always inspired me. So I never thought about it. But I never really noticed until I got into my, later years where I noticed how it's something that's so prominent in the black community that, whether you grew up in the projects or the ghetto or if you were middle class, and even middle class is different because when I grew up, we were considered middle class or working class. So we had a really good life, and at that, I said for that time, I guess I feel like I didn't grow up in the projects, and I grew up in a pretty much predominantly black neighborhood that was really just very nice. Matter of fact, I believe it was a new neighborhood when we moved into it. And as I got older, of course, I learned about redlining, and which is a whole nother conversation I wasn't familiar with. But in anyway, in terms of black neighborhoods and white neighborhoods and the separation, which again brings me back to what I feel like the competitiveness in the black neighborhood. Like I got mine, you get yours mentality, and putting people down because they don't have the same, like I said again, the same privilege, instead of lifting each other up. And I've gone through a lot of financial challenges these last couple of years via COVID, via moving from Atlanta to Oklahoma. And I've gone through some, like I said, personal financial challenges. But I never have viewed things from this vantage point before. I've never really been so humbled in my life in terms of how I view money. But I will say that when I get through my period of wilderness in terms of my financial dire straits, I don't ever want to treat people the way I feel people have treated me, or the way I've seen other people have been treated. Because I know there are people out there that have less than I do. And I've witnessed those people. I've seen homeless people here in Oklahoma. I've seen them in Georgia. I've seen whites, blacks, older, younger, homeless, as far as people that don't have insurance, and people that have mentally challenged. I don't judge people as harshly as I did until I got in certain situations and I was like, okay, it can happen to anybody. But when I see affluent people, even people that aren't people of color, it just bothers me that we can condemn people for not having. Because I can honestly say people have given up. Some people just throw in the towel and say, you know what, this is all I'm going to know. Because I can honestly say I've had those feelings of, why am I working so hard? It's nothing is happening. Nothing is moving. Why am I making all these sacrifices? I'm not getting the support that I want. And then also, I worry about becoming that person. What happens when my ship does come in and God blesses me with wealth? Am I going to become one of those people that's nasty and condescending? Because honestly, I know I'm capable of it. It's just, I know I have a lot of resentment toward people that haven't supported me. And I don't want to carry that into my blessed life, my life that I believe awaits me. I don't want to be that person. And it's something I'm conscious of and I'm working on. But I definitely don't want to put people down, or I definitely want to help people. But this might sound selfish, but I want to help the people that help me, or the people that want to be helped. Because I'm searching and building what I'd like to believe a circle of powerful black people that want to help each other. We shouldn't have to look to the Oprahs or the Jay-Z's and Beyoncé's or whatever to help us with everything. I mean, they're doing what they can for the community, but they can't save the community. We have to take initiative and start doing things for ourselves, as far as financial literacy, education, things that we need to do to better ourselves. Because a lot of us are choosing to stay where we are because you have books, you have the internet, you have YouTube, you have so many different avenues to learn how to make money, how to save money, how to better your credit. But what I don't like is I feel like rich people or people of affluent backgrounds don't want to help the people. Not all. Especially in Georgia, which is one of the reasons why I left Georgia. It's such an affluent city with black people that are doing well. But it was so much selfishness and so much I got mine, you get yours mentality that it wasn't enough for me, because I feel like I was turning into one of those people. I didn't want to lose myself in my career and opportunities that I wanted to, for lack of a better word, shit on other people to get ahead. Because a lot of people have shitted on me to get ahead. And I use that word because it's true. And I'm still dealing with the ramifications and the haunting of that, because I don't trust people in business very well, or personally very well. And it's something I have to work on. That's why I know if I'm ever blessed with money, I know I don't want to be an angry wealthy black man or an eccentric wealthy black man. And I certainly don't want to forget where I came from, my humble beginnings, and I don't want to put anybody in my family down, but I feel like I have cousins and relatives that have literally tried to compete with me, or I got this and you don't have that, and why are you still doing this, and putting down your career choices. I don't like those conversations. I really, really don't. I don't like being around it. I don't. My nieces and nephews, I'm proud of all of them, whatever they choose to do. And I think of my Aunt Pam, who poured into me, and she guided me through my life, and she helped me through my mistakes. But I'll never put us down. Just like online, you'll never see me go online putting people down. There's a lot of people that I don't have relationship with anymore, but I don't take the time to give them power over me by going online, putting them down, saying something, even if it's true, even if I have the receipts. I just don't do it. Whether it's exes, ex-friendships, family members, they know who they are. And even if they don't, I do. So I don't believe in public assassinations of people, regardless of how angry you may get, because I don't want nobody to do it to me. So, but when it comes to being educated and being literate to a lot of things, and you're not sharing that information, I can't respect you. If you know something and if you're able to help somebody get ahead, it's not always about giving people money. It's that old saying, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. You teach him how to fish, he'll eat forever. And that's literal. And lately, I feel like people need to be taught certain things. Now, mind you, I don't believe in forcing anything on anybody. Some people don't want to know stuff. They want to stay where they are. And that's fine. But if somebody's coming to you and they want to know how to better their credit, or how to buy a house, how to buy a car, and you're not willing to share that information, I just, shame on you. Because when I went to buy my house and when I was buying my car, I couldn't find anybody to go with me. My godmother, she actually went with me to help me look for a car. And, she's the same age as my mom. And this, she's like 60 something years old, and she's running around to different dealerships helping me find a car. When none of my friends, quote unquote, wanted to go with me. And it was the same thing when I was looking for my house. I got approved for my house, and I couldn't get anybody to go looking with me or to help me make the decision, a major decision like home ownership. Nobody wanted to talk to me. Nobody wanted to share their wisdom or information. And I don't regret buying my house. I probably wouldn't have bought that particular house if I'd had somebody with me, because I wasn't thinking about long term. And for those people that are interested in thinking about buying a house, do your research. Really, research the neighborhood. How long you plan to live there? Do you want to rent the house out? Really do your research before you buy your home. Like I said, whether it's crime in the neighborhood, what schools are there. A lot of things I just didn't look. I didn't do the research. So I ended up making a lot of mistakes with that first house because nobody told me. And I asked, but nobody was willing to give me that information. And again, I don't think there's anything wrong with being rich or successful. Let me be clear on that. Like I said, I will never apologize, even for the success that I've made for myself in recent years. I don't believe in that. I think you should be proud of your accomplishments. Nobody knows but you how you had to work and what you had to do to sacrifice to get to where you are. What I don't like is the fact that people have willing to, like I said, shit on people, get over on people, manipulate people, steal people's ideas, their concepts, their business endeavors. I don't believe in that, stepping on people to get to where you want to be. I want to, when I am successful in terms of financially, I don't ever want to go back to living hand to mouth or paycheck to paycheck, And contrary to popular belief, even online, I think people, I've said this once before, I think people think I have all this money. I just know how to make things look good. And what I mean by that is, like, I know how to market myself. Why would I post bad pictures of myself? Why would I post negative things going on in my life? We all got negative stuff we could post. I could say a lot of stuff, but why would I do that? But what you see is what you get. But I won't anymore make people that are insecure feel better. You know, if you're insecure around me, that's your issue, not mine. I'm not dumbing down, making anybody feel any kind of way. I'm just being myself. You know, so again, I think for those people that there's a difference. You know, I'm always sharing information with people. If somebody asks me a question, if I have an answer, I'll tell them, hey, do this, do that. And it doesn't take away my credibility as a human being, as a writer. I've never said I was the best writer, but I think I'm the best writer for me. And I was online and someone said, how do you take criticism of your poetry? And I thought it was an interesting question, but I don't. And what I mean by that is I don't think about what people think about my pain or my poetry. Poetry is my life. It's my lifeline. It's how I express myself. People can critique it, but I don't really have it's like somebody talking about your baby. You know, do you really care if they think your baby's ugly or if they don't think it's as cute as you think it is? I don't really give it any consideration. But now that I'm writing my screenplay, that's different because I want some constructive criticism because this is the biggest body of work I've ever written in my life as opposed to poetry. And screenwriting is a lot more intricate and a lot more, I don't really know all the ins and outs of a great screenplay. But I believe I have a great story. Now, as far as the scenes and the camera angles and all that, that's something I'm learning as I go. But I will never let nobody put me down and make me feel insecure. I grew up as an insecure black boy. Then I grew up part of my life as an insecure black man. And I just refused to go into my later years feeling insecure and beating myself up. Because I know how hard it is. And I will never beat up another black man for trying. You know, I love to see us, you know, whether we have to work 2 jobs or we're hustling and grinding and we're doing whatever we need to do to put our kids through college and high school. And if you want your kids to be, you know, have extracurricular activities like singing and being a musician, all that stuff costs money, you know. And again, I don't feel like anybody should apologize. But also, I don't think anybody who does not have should be made to feel bad because they still live in the projects or they're still living paycheck to paycheck. And because some people are really trying to do better for their lives. And then, of course, in the black community, you're going to have those people that don't want to do nothing. They playing video games all day. They have no intention of working. They want to get over in the system, smoke weed all day, you know, commit crimes against the government, robbing each other, killing each other. You're going to have that, you know. I think in every nationality there's going to be that. But my biggest concern is there shouldn't be a division between us as people, specifically black people, because at the end of the day, like to quote Jay-Z, still nigga. You know, you still black to the other people, whether you're rich or poor. They still treat you the same. And we have to take our power back and change the narrative and write our own story. And we really do have to help each other. You know, the way we push church on each other and we get in each other about being saved. What about saving us while we're living? You know, yeah, it's good to know that you're going to go to heaven, that you're going to get saved. But what about now? Being saved now. In my life, I want to be saved now. I want you to save me now. Meaning the people that are committing suicide, the people that are losing their minds because they're doing everything they know how and nothing is happening. They're praying. They're not questioning that there's a God. I don't question that there's a God. But I do question humanity. I've seen such atrocious things. I mean, I'm not going to get into a political conversation, but I've seen things that in my 50s that I've never saw in my 20s and 30s and 40s. I am blindsided daily by the way we treat each other, the things that I see on television, the things that I see online. But at the end of the day, I see people that are traveling and doing things, but like I've never been out of the country. You know, it's my goal to live. Actually, I wouldn't mind living abroad in my later years. And I'm not giving up on that. I don't care if I see Paris at 65, whenever it happens, Italy and Rome. I want to travel. I love traveling. I hate flying. But again, I want to take my camera lens and I want to travel the world and I want to just shoot everything, photography wise anyway. But I would never again put anybody down. That's my goal. Some people may want to just get a house and, retire somewhere. And that's their option. But for me, it's not. But I always have wanted more for my life, And I'm one of those people that'll die trying. I always want more. I know, like my mother says, me and mine, we deserve more. And even if the rest of my family don't want what I want, I'm okay with that. I know what I want for my life. I know what I want for what I've envisioned for my life. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get that. But also I'm willing to help other people get there too. Like I said, as a human being, if there's somebody I can help. And again, I think we always think about giving people money. We equate it to that. But I'll give an example. I had a friend that always used to say, there was an opportunity I thought you would have liked, but I didn't see you, or I couldn't find your number. Then why tell me about it? If it was an opportunity to sell me or to get me an opportunity or a job or something, then I just didn't believe the person. They were throwing this opportunity in my face and dangling it like a carrot, like I was supposed to just say, and then I just stopped listening, And the other thing, we have to be mindful of our friendships. Like I said, I want a circle of powerful people, circle of friends, circle of family, that we're lifting each other. We're encouraging each other. Because I don't think anybody else is going to do it. This waiting for white Jesus to come, I know I'm probably going to get a lot of people saying something to me about that, but I don't know what color Jesus is. But I know that I don't think Superman, Jesus, Santa Claus is going to save me from me. I just think that I do believe in a higher power. I do believe in God. I do. But some of these man-made, I question, that's me personally. I'm not telling anybody what they should do or say. But we need to start saving each other now. We're saving each other for the afterlife. But what about this life? What are we doing for each other now? That's my question. What are we doing? Are we encouraging each other? Then we're not encouraging each other to stay married, to be good parents. Why are we having kids if we're not going to raise them? What's the point? You tell people to get married. Oh, well, girl, when you going to get married? When you going to get married? Why are you worried about it? Because my thing is, you can't even get people to watch your kids. So when people say stuff like that, it sends me into a rage, because my thing is, why are you asking people when they're going to get married? Maybe they can't have kids. It's insensitive, and it's in the black community, and it's on a regular. And you telling people, you're looking at people's kids saying, oh, he looks sweet, or making all these comments, putting all these traumatic airs on young people, planting seeds, so-and-so is fast and she gonna be this, she gonna be that. That stuff got to stop. And if I had children, if I ever heard anybody saying something to my kids that way, they gonna get got. Because again, having educated kids, and people aren't bragging because they have successful. They're proud of that. If you got kids that are doing well and excelling, you should be proud of that. We should all be proud of what our kids are doing, what our parents are doing. That's not bragging. You're proud. You get some successful kids, and then you can brag about it. And it's not even bragging. It's just like, God is good. And again, it's like, I think we're living in a world where I don't like seeing it in the black community. I'd be damned. I take it from white people. I have to deal with that. Them trying to put me down. I'll be damned if I'm going to let black people do it to me. Never going to happen. I don't have nothing to prove to nobody else. And I just turned 55 years old. I don't have anything to prove to anybody. I am who I am. And it's one of those things that you have to go to work, and you have to smile in people's faces, and you got to be this guy and pretend like things don't bother you. And then you're going to let black people do it to you too? Oh no. That's just not. Again, I don't like the condescending attitudes, and I dealt with it in Atlanta. I felt it a little bit here in Oklahoma. And again, I'm not putting anybody down. I think it's just something that we should speak up. That it's not appropriate. It's not. It doesn't make you feel good, and I don't think we should be putting each other down. Like I said, whether somebody lives in the projects or the ghetto or living hand to mouth or choosing a different life than you are. Everybody don't want the big house. Everybody don't want the big car. But I also, let me just say that poor people shouldn't be putting rich people down either. Oh, you think you better than us? Or no, I don't believe in that either. If you're willing to do whatever they did to get that money, then shut up. Sit down and shut up. You don't know what sacrifices they made to get to where they are, and you don't know what keeps them there. So my thing is, I don't believe in that either. I don't believe in poor people, people that aren't educated, people that aren't trying to do better, putting other people down because they are. That's just not, I don't like that either. Because I'm one of those people, I work my ass off. Ain't nobody ever handed me nothing. And whatever education, I mean, I really have self-taught outside of the schooling that I've had in my life. I know how to read a book. I know how to go to a YouTube page. I know how to teach myself. I've taught myself pretty much everything, and I knew how to ask questions. So, and I'm not wealthy. Never been wealthy. So again, I don't believe in black poor people complaining about stuff that they don't have if they're not willing to do the work. Just like young people, 30 something, 20 something, 40 something. They don't want to work 2 jobs. They don't want to have a hustle. They just want to, slide through. Don't we all want to slide through? I've worked 2 jobs, sometimes 3 jobs, and I was in school, and I had a hustle, and I did it all well. And I was tired, but I got up and I did it, and I would do it again. So all these people that aren't willing to, work and do the extra stuff, that's on you. I don't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I think that my point in this is that we need to work together. We need to put aside our differences, rolling up our nose and at people, judging people. Because I do it. You judge people, you think they're too ghetto, you think they're too this or whatever. And like I said, I don't want to block my blessings by being that way towards people. And I guess my point in this podcast is think about that. Think about when you're talking to your cousins and your friends. You don't know what people's situations are. And be mindful when you're talking to people about their weight, their looks, their age. People are very aware of where they are in their lives. And nobody needs to be reminded. It's more hurtful and painful coming from your own. It really is. And I'm speaking from experience. When people that claim to love you and support you are really putting you down, we might not say anything about it, but it's there. But anyway, I wanted to also talk about my store, All Things Moetic, which I'm very proud of. We're going into the holiday season soon, so I will be having some new product, baskets, and also Christmas stuff, as well as the fall, enters in the next couple months. And also, I want to talk about my event, my Black Experience exhibit, which I am scheduling for October. And I would still like for you guys to donate whatever you can to support my event that I'm really, really excited about. It's celebrating the Black experience through poetry, music, photography, whatever way I can, whatever my imagination will allow me to do. And I really, really need your help. As I said, I don't have the money to do it the way I would like to do it, vision-wise. And the worst case scenario, honestly, if I can't do it in October, I may do it early part of next year. But my goal is October 21st in Oklahoma City. And again, I'm really proud of this idea and this event. I think it's going to be something that's going to be eye-opening and very enlightening for people that attend, online and offline. And again, you can go to my GoFundMe page, or if you don't know where it is, you can Google it. Just GoFundMe, Mose Hardin, MOSEHARDIN, and actually all the details will be there. So, and like I said, I think you can donate as low as $5 if you get a chance, and I think as high as $1,000. But anyway, I just want to say thank you for listening. I really do appreciate your comments and thoughts about my honesty and my transparency, again, and me being vulnerable, because I'm just being myself. But as always, I pray life is treating you well wherever you are in the world, and that you're one day closer to your dreams and prayers coming true. Thank you for listening.